Shut up and sit down.
Rightio people, my next build is, as you can see, the Revell 1144 scale Boeing 747-400 Ed Force 1. This is the Iron Maiden aeroplane that was used on the Book of Soul tours in 2016. It looks like it's a reasonably detailed kit. It's a level 4, sorry about the light, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this. And also, to go with it, I managed to get hold of a Beacons model kit. Basically what this is this is a rather fetching LED navigation light set, which basically gives you all the working LEDs that you need for your flashing strobe lights, etc., for the 747. I'm really looking forward to having a play with this one. It's a pre-programmed microchip which is sat in there, as you can see, and then you've got tiny little LED lights for your strobes, your landing lights, your beacons, pretty much everything you need in there. You can run them off of twin button cell batteries. Me personally, I've chose a AA compartment, and what I'm going to do with this is where the landing gear is in the centre of the body, I'm basically going to have a removable panel that I will then be able to access this from. Okay, also in the kit from Raven scale models, you get some tiny fibre optic tubes, etc., so that when it comes to the real fine detail in the wings, I can run a light up there. It's basically switched on and off using a magnetic switch, which I'll go into more detail in later. All in all, pretty impressed with that. I think that was about 25 quid. May seem a lot, you know, I only paid 16 for the kit, but I think that that'll make it pretty damned special. I don't think it's going to be too easy a job to do, but here goes. So that's the box, pretty much standard Revell box. There's the decals, as you can see, really good quality, tail fin, windows, doors, all the livery that you need, which we'll go into later on. I tend to keep them well away when I'm building, because I can be a little messy. It can end up being loads of filler and all sorts of gubbins flying around whilst I'm working. I don't mean to do it, but hey, you know, these things happen. Right, let's have a look at some of the bits we've got. .747 fuselage. One thing I already have noticed, as you can see, pretty much loads of mould overrun in there. Bits and pieces that really need a bit of dressing up, as you can see on top of the fuselage there. Yeah, so plenty of sanding to be done on them, which I'll do off camera. No real point. Most of you know how to sand a piece of plastic. You don't really need me to tell you how to do it. Loads of bits and bolts, wings, etc. The reason I'm digging these out for you, oh, there goes the remote, is just to give you an idea of how tiny a space I've got to play with inside the wings. It's pretty much the wing, top and bottom section, obviously loads of sanding that need doing, but that's pretty much what I've got to play with. As you can see, it's really, really thin. What I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to drill in here and then run the LED wiring right the way down the wing to about there, and then shoot a little tiny piece of fibre optic. I don't know if you can see that actually. There's a really fine groove there, and I'm hoping to bring the fibre optic right the way down to the tip. A tiny little pin drill hole in the wing. I'll probably end up taping both parts together whilst I do it. And as you can see, excuse the shade, the light really is rubbish. I don't know why I got that. Let's see if we can give you a bit more light. Damn nothing. Let's see what that does. There you go. A little bit better than it was. Right, as you can see, it really is quite fine. I think I can get an LED, drill a tiny hole right about there. Yeah, you can see it? Tiny little hole, and then feed through the fibre optic so it protrudes just a tiny bit, and then it will go through the inside all the way down that channel and out through a hole here. Pretty much got that to do on the entire kit. And then obviously where the landing gear sits in here, we have quite a large cavity piece just here. That's what I'm hoping to have as the removable panel, so that I can then, with the two halves of the fuselage joined, remove the panel, get my hands in, pull the lead out, pop new batteries in as and when I need to. Okay, that's pretty much what we need to do on that. Again, as you can see, loads of cleaning up to do, and go to the left a sec, in the instructions there, which are really well laid out, I think, especially for Revell. They seem to have upped their game a little bit. Nice colour instructions for a change. The usual, wash everything before you start building. I tend to soak them in a bowl of warm water with soap all my sprues, all the pieces pretty much as they are, straight into the bowl, the sink, bit of soapy water, let it soak for half an hour, and then I air dry everything. The reason I do that is sometimes you can get a really fine mould film along here, along inside the seams, etc., all the way down. Okay, that gets your bits and pieces nice and clear, so that when you do start building, everything is hunky-dory. As you can see also on these instructions, some of the windows need to be plugged, some need to be drilled, quite a bit to do there. What I tend to use is my old favourite, nice bit of Vallejo plastic putty, man's best friend, or certainly mine. Really is great stuff. I recommend that to anyone. But I'll get into what bits and pieces I tend to use as I do the build, or I'll probably do a video which is pretty much going to be of the workshop, equipment I've got, techniques I use, bits and pieces that I've got laying around that come in handy. You guys might have your own way of doing things, it works for me. But that'll be in another video, and I'll just call that the workshop video. Let's just see what kind of rig I use, etc, etc, and it might give you some ideas of your own. Pretty basic build, as you can see, not a massive amount of pieces. However, although we are building pretty much in sequence, bear in mind I'm running LEDs, so a lot of the final assembly will be taking place with pretty much pieces assembled already onto the body, onto the wings. So probably find that I've already hung the engines on the wings, so I'll probably do quite a bit out of sequence. Quite a lot of work to figure out this section, which is going to be the removable cover. So I need, basically inside here, I'm going to build a raised lip so that it stops the sides from popping in, and then probably a couple of tongues that slot underneath here so that I can then push it in and engage and lock it into place. Really not quite sure how that's going to work out until I've done it. It's going to be trial and error, but hey, you know, what I do here and mistakes I make here could help you guys out further on down the road. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go off and wash all these pieces, clean them all up, fill in all the windows that need to be filled, and then obviously I'll rejoin you then. Thanks for watching. Hello again, welcome back. Going to start doing a tiny bit of assembly for you today. Little bit of landing gear. Basically, since we've last been seen, been doing a bit of window filling, etc. You'll also notice there's a cutout just there by my thumb, and the same, where is it? It is on the wings. There you go, there's one. Oh, let's just find the camera. There you go, just by my thumb again. Basically, them little cutouts are for the LED wiring kit that I showed you when we was last here. I've since been taped up all the necessary wires so that we can start running them out through the wings later on in the build. I'll show you a little demo of that working as well. I tested those this morning and everything is working hunky-dory, so I'm as happy as a proverbial hog in slop, so to speak. Right, we are looking at the front landing gear, which is going to be one of those, some bits and pieces on the wheels, and also that piece there which the landing gear goes in. A few sub assemblies that I'm going to be building. I shall build them up and then go and prime them. We'll probably show you the setup on my compressor, my spray booth, etc, etc, etc. But for now I'm just going to get on and start cutting off some pieces. So we need, I've just got my instruction sheet just out of sight in case you wonder what that annoying little creaking noise was. So we need number 3, which is there. Again, I tend to cut nice and close to the piece, or as close as I can. Let it just drop on the side there. I need that one there. Let's just have a look for it. Number 6 and number 5. Again, I shall go around with me sanding sticks and sand and prep everything that I need to as I go along. Some of these are actually really quite fiddly to get to. And what else do I want? I want a number 2, or piece number 2. Oh dear, I should have rephrased that actually, shouldn't I? Which is that one there. And number 4. God, that's tiny. Not designed for people with hands like 2 pounds of sausages, but I make do. That's what it's all about. Let's just give you a little bit of light in there to stay, just so that we can see what we're doing. And number 7, which I do believe is that piece there. Look at that. I suppose the clue in the name 7, or number 7, is a help. There you go. So that's all of the gubbins, pardon me, for that. Ta-da! So that's what we've got to assemble. So, out with some sanding sticks. See what we can achieve with some of these for you. As you can see, some large chunks and bits and pieces to scrape off the kit. Minding that I don't amputate the tip of my thumb in the process. I suppose the golden rule is you cut away from you. A little bit of fettling. Sounds worse than it actually is, but I tend to try and get as much of it off as I can at this stage. It just makes it a little bit easier to sand and get the preparation going. Just work yourself along like so. Nice coarse thinny stick. I mean, luckily for me on these builds, I'm not actually sponsored by anyone, so I can pretty much get away with saying where I get bits and pieces from without people that I'm building for saying, well, you know, we don't sell this, we don't sell that, they do. You're supposed to be working for us. These finny sticks you can get from Flory Models. There are other suppliers out there. E-Models do them, Wonderland Models, you know, little bit of Google, you'll find the bits and pieces that you're after. Again, I tend to stick to the same companies. Various fixes, wrong one, that's the one I'm after. And you just work your way around the bits and bobs. You'll notice I keep dropping things. It's part and parcel of, how can I say, a condition I deal with on a daily basis. But please excuse me if I do start dropping things. It's not intentional, it's just one of those slightly frustrating aspects of things that you have to put up with. And there you go, look at that, nice and smooth. And you basically just do that with every bit and bob that you come across. Just get my knife in there, give that a little scrape. There you go. And there are tiny little holes drilled in, focus, in the pieces. There you go, I do apologise. So, and it's excuse me, it's just a matter of going around bits and bobs. These are an absolute godsend. I recommend you get yourself as many pairs of those as you can afford, because at times like this, when you're sanding really fine seams, fine edges and that, just having something else to grip these in is absolute godsend. Especially when your grip isn't great. That sort of thing, you know, whoever invented them was a model maker's guru, I think, somewhere along the line. Someone had the bright idea and made lots of money. Wasn't me. Wish it was. I basically just work myself around. Like so. A lot of people think this is overkill, but it's not. And then around with the tiny smooth side. Back out with a course on there, just spied that slightly annoying edge to it. There you go, I got rid of it. Oh, stage 4 dropping. And then again, these are really great for that final polishing of a piece where you've been sanding. It really does put a beautiful squeaky smooth surface on there, as you can see. Gold dust. And it's just a matter then of repeating the process. As funny, I've just looked off camera and seen how many wheels there are in this kit. And I've got an A380 sat just out of shot as well. I'm thinking, all them wheels, oh my god. I've got a 172 scale Concorde. Oh, just off camera now, I do apologise. I've got a 172 scale Concorde sat just in the corner of the workshop there. And that's one that every time I look at it, I think the potential on that kit is going to be absolutely sensational. I'm already thinking where I'm doing LEDs in this build. I'm already thinking the potential of adding them on Concorde is really is something I'm looking forward to. I'm trying to think of different things I can light. I looked at the afterburners. Obviously strobes, nav lights and things like that, but even the interior cockpit where the passengers sit, you know, I'm sort of looking at ways of lighting that. So that one is potentially going to be a long-term build, a bit like the E-Type Jaguar that I've been building. Been doing some photographs on the Facebook page of that. I will upload some here on the website as well. That's a 1/8 scale build that I've been doing for quite a while now. I originally bought the kit 28 years ago, and it's one of those that's been built, left, looked at, taken apart, rebuilt, taken apart, and at this stage I've recently looked at her and thought, you know, I could do a really excuse me, could do a really good potential long-term build on that, and I've actually been posting those on my Facebook page, and the feedback I've been getting is really quite nice. People out there that have been building 10, 15, 20 years have sort of said that the detail that's on that piece is beyond or even amazed them, you know, which is really quite a nice piece of praise to get, actually, because like anyone, you build your kits and you sit there and you think, well, you know, am I any good? You know, could I have done any better at it? But it's art at the end of the day. You've built it, and you've put your heart and soul into it, and at the end of the day, you should be proud of anything and everything that you make and build, because at the end of the day, it didn't exist. You created it, and, you know, be proud as punch to display it. You know, there isn't a right or a wrong way of doing these models. It's however easier you find it. What works for you works for you. You know, these aren't definitive, this is what you've got to do and this is the only way you can do it type of videos. This is basically me saying this is what I do, and if there's anything you can take from it that helps you, then everyone's happy. Right. Let's just get rid of those. And then we get my old favourite Tamiya extra thin cement. This stuff really is brilliant. Gets into anywhere and everywhere. Really is fine. Like I say, a small drop pretty much covers everything. In it goes, it finds its own level. Capillary reaction makes it go in any nooks, crannies, crevices, wherever you need it to go, it will go. And you literally just give it a tiny little squeeze, and that's it. It's in there, done. Again, this will all be primed off camera when I come to do the airbrushing and that. Again, it's something that I'll do a tutorial on, or a video on the side, just so that you guys can get a feel for it, see what you think. Again, you know, my setup isn't the be all and end all. There are different ways that you can set these things up, but it works okay for me. Oh, there's me dropping stuff yet again. Cool. And then I shall let that dry, come back and assemble it later on. Okay for now, see you in a bit.